Story 1. In the Saw film trilogy, horror takes on a perverse and ruthless dimension, plunging characters and audiences into a whirlwind of psychological and physical terror. Saw I, The Trap of Redemption. In the first installment of this grim trilogy, we meet Alex, an ordinary young man who wakes up in a dismal and oddly familiar room. Bound to a chair, he quickly discovers he's not alone. A handful of others are also trapped, each with a heavy secret to conceal. Soon, a cassette recorded by a mysterious Jigsaw reveals the rules of the game. To gain their freedom, they must confess their sins and confront their inner demons. What begins as a macabre game quickly turns into an endless nightmare as the participants realize Jigsaw has chosen them for a specific reason. With deadly traps and impossible choices at every turn, Alex and the others must fight for their survival while facing the dark reality of their own human nature. Saw 2, The Hellish Labyrinth. In the terrifying sequel, we meet Emily, a determined police detective on the trail of the infamous serial killer known as Jigsaw. But when her quest leads her to an abandoned warehouse, she quickly discovers she's fallen into a deadly trap. Prisoners in a labyrinth of traps and puzzles, Emily and a motley crew of other victims must confront their deepest fears and darkest secrets to escape their grim fate. But as time inexorably ticks away and the traps close in, Emily realizes she's tied to Jigsaw in a way she never imagined, and her only chance of survival lies in her ability to understand the mysteries of her own past. Saw 3, The Blood Pact. In the final installment of the trilogy, we meet Marcus, a renowned surgeon who finds himself grappling with Jigsaw's tortuous machinations. As he struggles to save his gravely ill daughter's life, Marcus is faced with an impossible choice: sacrifice the life of an innocent to save his daughters, or face the deadly consequences of his actions. Trapped in a game of life and death, Marcus must confront the demons of his past and come to terms with the brutal truth of his own family legacy. But as the traps close in and blood is shed, Marcus realizes that Jigsaw is not only interested in redemption, but also vengeance, and the only possible way out is to make a pact with the devil himself. Story 2, Saw IV, The Test of Awakening. In this installment, we meet Sarah, a young woman who awakens in a dark, narrow room, chained to a wall. Next to her, a television screen lights up, revealing the disturbing images of a masked puppeteer known as Jigsaw. On the screen, Jigsaw explains to her that she is undergoing a survival test, designed to force her to confront her greatest fears and darkest secrets. To survive, Sarah must solve a series of complex puzzles and face difficult moral choices, with her life at stake at every step. But as time inexorably passes and the traps tighten, Sarah realizes her connection with Jigsaw is far more personal than she ever imagined, and her only chance of survival lies in her ability to understand the serial killer's twisted motivations. Saw V, The Final Judgment. In this chapter, we meet David, a corrupt police detective who finds himself trapped in a deadly game orchestrated by Jigsaw. Confronted with his past sins and dubious moral choices, David must face the consequences of his actions as he fights for his survival. Trapped in a labyrinth of traps and dilemmas, David must confront his own inner demons and find a way to escape before it's too late. But as the trials become increasingly desperate and allies turn into enemies, David realizes that his only chance of salvation lies in his ability to find forgiveness and redemption, even in the darkest of times. Saw VY, The Price of Forgiveness. In this final installment of the saga, we follow Rachel, a dedicated nurse who finds herself caught in a diabolical trap devised by Jigsaw. As she struggles to survive the deadly trials imposed on her, Rachel quickly discovers that her choices are linked to a larger conspiracy that threatens to destroy everything she believes in. Trapped in a game of life and death, Rachel must confront the ghosts of her past and find the courage to forgive those who have hurt her. But as the traps tighten and time runs out, Rachel realizes that the true price of forgiveness is higher than she ever imagined, and her only chance of survival lies in her ability to find the strength to overcome her fears and face the brutal truth of her own family legacy. Story 3. Saw 7. The Ultimate Revelation. In this installment, we are introduced to Alex, a man who wakes up in a deadly trap with his loved ones captured and threatened with death. As he struggles to find a way to save them, Alex discovers that the tragic events of his past are linked to an even more sinister plot orchestrated by Jigsaw. Trapped in a complex game of manipulation and betrayal, Alex must confront the demons of his past and find the strength to forgive those who have hurt him. But as the traps tighten and time runs out, Alex realizes that the true revelation lies in his ability to accept responsibility for his own actions and find inner peace in a world of chaos. Saw V8. The Path to Redemption. In this chapter, we follow Emily, a survivor of Jigsaw's horror, who finds herself once again plunged into a nightmare of torture and suffering. As she struggles to find a way to escape the deadly traps that hold her captive, Emily discovers that her own guilt and desire for redemption are the keys to her survival. Trapped in a labyrinth of moral choices and ethical dilemmas, Emily must confront the ghosts of her past and find the strength to forgive those who have betrayed her. But as the traps tighten and time runs out, Emily realizes that the true path to redemption lies in her ability to accept her own weaknesses and find the strength to rise again, even in the darkest depths. Saw X. The Final Confrontation. In this final installment of the saga, we meet Jake, a man haunted by the demons of his past, who finds himself trapped in a life-and-death game orchestrated by Jigsaw. As he struggles to find a way to escape the deadly traps that hold him prisoner, Jake discovers that his own choices and quest for redemption are the keys to his survival. Trapped in a labyrinth of lies and betrayals, Jake must confront the ghosts of his past and find the strength to forgive those who have hurt him. But as the traps tighten and time runs out, Jake realizes that the true confrontation lies in his ability to accept responsibility for his own actions and find inner peace in a world of suffering and chaos. Saw X. The Ultimate Conclusion. In this final installment of the series, we follow Julia, a woman who wakes up in a world devastated by terror and suffering. As she struggles to find a way to survive the horrors around her, Julia discovers that her own will to live and her ability to forgive are the keys to her survival. Trapped in a deadly game orchestrated by Jigsaw, Julia must confront the ghosts of her past and find the strength to forgive those who have betrayed her. But as the traps tighten and time runs out, Julia realizes that the true conclusion lies in her ability to find inner peace and accept responsibility for her own actions even in the darkest moments.